thanks to the support as a channel member, Grant Charman. Well, we've got the lovely old FM24 double whammy of an injury crisis and a player mutiny at the same time. What a time to be alive. Hello and welcome to part 117 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games for you in the Championship. I'm not going to get tired of saying that. We're away against Preston and at home against Portsmouth since you were last with me. Mixed results, but mixed results that ultimately are absolutely fine because we're not in the relegation zone. We're 12th in the league. We've won a couple of matches. As you can see, we beat Millwall. We absolutely thrashed Charlton, who, of course, we got promoted with last season, and we also beat Barnsley. We took a thrashing of our own against Leicester, but we're Wembley. We're supposed to lose against Leicester. That match was a league game in front of over 40,000 people, which is frankly bonkers. This is the league table as it stands. 8 games in, 11 points on the board. We're very happy with that. If we finish 12th this season, we'll be absolutely delighted. We did also do a couple more transfers since the last episode, one of which was because of the player mutiny that's being led by our captain, Seb Scholes, who feels that there's insufficient depth in the goalkeeping department. I promised him I would sign a new goalkeeper and then failed despite signing a new goalkeeper. We brought in Danny Jennings, who is a goalkeeper. I mean, I gave him the first choice goalkeeper squad status to try and trick the AI into thinking he was better than he was. But ultimately, he's 2.5 stars. He's nearly as good as Slocum. 5 stars of potential. To me, that guy is sufficient depth in goal. We got another one because that didn't do the job. This guy is coming in from Fenerbahce on loan, but can't join us until January. So we don't even know how good he is. He was literally the only other guy my director of football recommended when I asked for loan suggestions. We've not even scouted him, and he's only 5'10", but he joins in January because he couldn't come in any sooner. But all of it means we've now got a player mutiny, an absurd player mutiny because our squad depth is fine. We've got, I mean, throughout the save, there's been rare occasions where we've had 3 goalkeepers at 3-star, 2.5, 1.5 stars. That to me is perfectly acceptable squad depth. But it's not, apparently. So I failed the promise, and I've now got Seb Scholes leading 9 other players into being grumpy about it, which is super. On top of all that, we've had an injury crisis that, of course it does, as soon as the window closed, includes Slocum. Slocum's broken his collarbone. He's going to be out until, the next 5 weeks or so. So Danny Jennings is having to play, which wasn't really the intention. We did bring him in to be first choice goalkeeper, but he is coming in and having to play. So I guess so be it. The other guy we brought in on loan at the end of the transfer window was Levon Rodney, who's a Jamaican international left winger. He's in on loan from Everton, spent last season out on loan in Romania, previously in Manchester City as well. And he's quite good. So we are quite good. We've got a good team. As you can see, we can beat the teams we're better than, and we struggle against the teams that are better than us, as you would expect. Preston are a team who are a little bit better than us. Although, to be fair, they were supposed to be in a relegation battle at the start of the season. So I guess this is actually one of those matches where, despite it being away from home, we'd quite like to come here and maybe pick up at least a draw. So let's try and do that, shall we? This is the team we're putting out. It is Jennings in goal, a back four of Berry, Salucci, Rose and Yahaya. Christodoulou and Nkatha in midfield. I'm fairly confident I'm still saying both of those names wrong. And then the attacking midfield 3 of Rodney, Castles and Tanjo behind Swaby up front. We're also struggling for fitness with both of our fullbacks who've been injured very recently. And we've also got McBride, our 6'9" or whatever he is defender. He's injured. Scholes is injured. So that's our 2 centre-backs injured and our 2 fullbacks just recovering from injury, plus our goalkeeper's injured as well. And our striker that we signed in the summer, Max Howard, is injured. One of our backup strikers is injured. It's not ideal, but we're not bottom of the league. So I guess that's a positive. But any points we can secure at the moment, I feel like are almost bonus points, because there's not going to be, I can't imagine the entire season we're going to be having, I mean, our entire first choice back 4 are either unavailable or carrying knocks or just recovering from knocks, and the goalkeeper. That happens so rarely. I can't imagine that's going to happen again. And then when you factor in the fact that half of them are also in a mood with me. I just can't imagine we're going to get that combination of things going wrong throughout the entire season. So I am kind of expecting to lose more matches than we win at the moment, knowing that we'll hopefully turn it around later in the season when everyone's fit and nobody's in a moody. But of course, the problem you get is they're more likely to be in a moody if you're losing games. So if we don't get results now, then it sets us up quite poorly for that second half of the season and we might not recover. Remember, we are mid-table at the moment, so we don't need to worry too much. We've gone 1-0 down in this game, but any away game at this level, as far as I'm concerned, any point we can get in an away game in the Championship is a bonus. I'm talking about lots of bonus points today, but I am kind of expecting us to really struggle this year, and we haven't really struggled yet, so that's good. We're not going to get to play Charlton every week, though. We've committed a lot of men forward for that long throw. One of our centre-backs took it. The other guy is the guy we were aiming at, and it was Rose who was chasing back. Rose did quite well to chase back as valiantly as he did, but I mean, he gave the ball away in the first place, gave the ball away and immediately started running backwards, didn't track the run of the guy who ended up scoring the goal, though, and although he almost caught him, that was poor from us. I think it's time to berate because that was pathetic. We've not had a shot yet, but we are 2-0 down. Preston controlling possession. They've scored both of the shots they've taken, which, again, that comes down to not having a goalkeeper. Jennings is playing his second game of football ever. He's not really good enough. He wouldn't have been good enough to play for us last year. And it's not ideal that we've lost Slocum because Slocum became such an important player after an iffy start. Castles has got him behind here, though. And Swaby, another example that Swaby, despite being the hero last year, I just don't think is a Championship quality striker. And it's another one of those really, a shenanigans corner. Bear with me a moment, boys and girls. We can't even score the shenanigans corners. But it's just one of those frustrating things that happen in Football Manager where we saw exactly the same thing happen to Tom Best. Tore up several leagues in a row, but got to that level. I think it was National League North. He just got to that level and he just couldn't hit a barn door anymore. And it defied all logic because, yeah, he might not have been a good enough player to play at that level, but there was no logic behind him missing chances he previously would have scored. And it's just that the match engine can't accurately represent a player being a little bit out of their depth. And I think we're getting that with Swaby this season because he's missing so many sitters. And he wasn't missing sitters last season. It's not that he's become rubbish and is now just missing loads of sitters all the time. It's that he's not good enough for this level, but the match engine isn't capable of demonstrating that to us outside of just having him miss sitters. So it's forcing him to miss sitters, even though it's utterly illogical that he suddenly can't shoot when he could last year. We're getting absolutely hammered here and I'm not enjoying it. But what are you going to do with the defence and the goalkeeper in the state that they're in? We're just going to have to accept until we get some players fit again at the back. It's going to be a fairly miserable time for all concerned, I guess. Slocum only got injured 2 games ago, so it's not that we've been on a long run where we've picked up results with this makeshift defence and goalkeeper. This is all kind of piled on in the last week to 10 days. And as you can see, we're struggling a little bit with it. Although Preston, they're up in 9th place. Preston are doing all right. They're not a team that you would expect to be in a relegation battle. So I think we just have to hold our hands up and accept that our defence and goalkeeper today just aren't going to be able to get the job done. We don't have a backup left back to bring on. I guess Salucci's going to have to go out to left back. We'll bring Zach Abbott on. We'll bring Palmer on. Swaby's having an absolute shocker, so Fenty can go up front. It's not ideal. Let's demand more. I suppose we should go attack. In fact, forget going attacking. Who's got injured now? What's happened here? I don't know why this has happened. I'm just going to come out of that. I don't know why that screen popped up. I don't think I clicked on it. I must have accidentally clicked on it. Right, we've got a free kick here. Can we get ourselves a consolation goal? A consolation goal would be very welcome. Tanjo from range. The goalkeeper tips it over the crossbar, goes behind for a corner. We don't have any of our really big boys on the pitch at the moment, so corners aren't going to be quite as threatening as they, as they ordinarily would be. You can see it's choking me up a little bit. Give me a drink. Goodness me. I can't even speak. I've got noppers on the tonsil. You're not aware what noppers are. They are great. I've just had a noppers before starting to record. Look it up. They're probably the best biscuit. Oh, good. Jennings made a save. That's a positive, I guess. Do we make more substitutions? I mean, we've got more players getting tired. Tanjo's tired and Cather's tired. We may as well just make our other 2 substitutions and give the fringe players a little bit more time. So this lets us get Dixon on. In fact, with those 2 on the pitch together, we could play these 2 in the roles that we kind of originally intended to play them in. Why not experiment in a game like this? And then Fenty can go out onto the wing, and we'll bring Septus on to play up front and see what happens, I guess. Maybe today's the day that the midfield starts to click. That'd be nice. And if nothing else, Dixon is 6'5", so he's going to be quite the threat at set pieces as well. Not that we're going to have any chance of getting anything out of this game. We're kind of just looking at players at this point, and accepting that it's been a miserable day because everyone's injured. Oh, my word. How quickly can we force a man to recover from a broken collarbone? How important is having a fully intact collarbone to a goalkeeper? Probably quite. The collarbone's like the shock absorber, isn't it? And they do fall over a lot, goalkeepers. Oh, this is not going well now. I mean, we've not played very well, but I didn't expect us to chip 4 goals. And I feel like that was straight down Jennings' throat as well, which makes it even worse. Can we play Charlton again? We know we're better than them. Who's the other team we got promoted with last year? I mean, that's poor from Jennings. That is not very good at all. Well, I don't really know what to do. It's almost as if, and it really frustrates me to say this, it's almost as if Seb Scholes was right and we don't have sufficient strength and depth in goal. And I get that, but I just want to be able to shake him and say, look, you're our captain. You're one of our most experienced players. I get it, but we can't afford a goalkeeper. So we're massively over budget as it is in a league we shouldn't be in. Maybe don't lead a player mutiny that's going to lead to this happening. We're playing reserves throughout the defence and everybody's upset. So, of course, we're going to get absolutely spanked. As a senior player, he's really not doing himself any favours here, to the point where I'm tempted to bin him off, get him on the transfer list. Because we may as well just play Sallucci for the rest of the season. If we're going to get spanked anyway, what's the benefit in Scholes being around? Exactly. 5-0. We've not looked great here, have we? Well, who do we play next? Do we have any chance? Can we quickly heal a collarbone? I'm not feeling very confident right now. So we play Portsmouth, who are up in 4th place. I just want to see who the other team that got promoted with us last year was. I can't remember who it was. So stages, last season, it was Rotherham. So Rotherham, I think we've played them already. Oh, we haven't played them. When do we play Rotherham? We don't play Rotherham for a while. Well, I mean, actually, that's nearly 3 weeks until that Portsmouth game. How long is he out for? There is an outside chance that Slocum could be back, although not fully fit, for Rotherham. That'd be nice. In the meantime, let's get some fitness friendlies in, shall we? Well, it was always going to be touch and go, and Slocum isn't quite going to be fit enough to play in this game. 5 more days, so should be able to play the next match, which I guess is nice. But we could have really used him back for today. We have got Scholes back, although he can only play 75 minutes. And of course, he's the ringleader of the mutiny, which, as you can see, most of the rest of the defence are agreeing with him about. So the defence is just in disarray. McBride fit again, but supporting Scholes. Abbott fit again, supporting Scholes. The whole defence has got a grumpy on that we don't have a good enough goalkeeper. This poor lad, Danny Jennings, must be crying himself to sleep at night, having to put up with all these senior professionals, including the club captain, publicly saying he's not good enough, which is nice. We played a couple of friendlies, thrashed a couple of local whipping boys, so that's allowed the club atmosphere to recover from average up to good, which I guess is good. And the injury crisis, fingers crossed, is over. Slocum's the only one still injured. Adam Duffy's joined him on the injured list. We do have McBride, Scholes, Dixon, Regan all on the recently recovered from injured list, and a few more boys, including both right backs, on the high injury risk because they've been away on international duty and played a lot of games, and etc. etc. So we're still taking some risks. Playing Scholes is a risk. Playing Yahaya is a risk. Not playing Slocum is a risk. But let's go and beat Portsmouth, shall we? Why not? I hear you cry. So let's get the team submitted, and fingers crossed, at the very least, put on a better show than what we did in that last match, because that game against Preston was absolutely pathetic. We're better than that. We know we're better than that. The only problem is Portsmouth are better than Preston. They're only 2 points off the top of the league, only 2 points behind Preston. Preston have already spanked us this season. Not Preston, sorry, Leicester. Preston have spanked us, but Leicester have also already spanked us this season. Yeah. I do have to question what's gone on with West Ham, by the way. Obviously, we know Charlton aren't very good because we've beaten them. But West Ham, only 3 points, is an interesting one. Watford struggling a little bit as well. So hopefully there's going to be some teams that are so rubbish that we don't have to be that good to stay up. That's the hope, I guess, at the moment. Although we have had the first attacking highlight of the game, but it has immediately turned into us defending, and all of our defenders are out of position because they all charged forward to join the attack. And once again, we've been hit on the counter-attack. And we've had moments like this throughout the save where I've questioned whether I should have my fullbacks on such attacking instructions because of stuff like this. Obviously, Yahaya is all the way up there. That's him, number 5. And he just never, I mean, we can track him all the way through. He never gets close to making it back to cover there. I know we've got the aliens in as well. I would argue, though, that's not the reason we're conceding these counter-attack goals. I genuinely think it's the goalkeeper. I think once Slocum is back, we actually maybe make some saves occasionally, which we don't really seem to do very often at the moment. He says, as Jennings is making a really good save. So that told me, I guess. But it's not like Portsmouth have been absolutely all over us. They've just had one breakaway and the goalkeeper got nowhere near it. So that being said, we're not really creating anything either, are we? Can we demand more? We're going to go attacking in the second half, I think. If we concede here, I'll be sad. Oh, it's a shenanigans one as well. Shenanigans corners are the worst of the corners, but that one is straight down the throat of Jennings. And there you go. He's made a save. Maybe he's going to play himself into some kind of form because he has got an enormous amount of potential. So this little run of games, he might end up a half-decent goalkeeper. We don't really have the time to experiment this season and get him there. But he's not looked as ropey today as he did in the previous match. This is good work from Castles. Finds the cross. It's a good cross as well. It ends up with Yahaya. We've got players on the edge of the area we could have given that to, but instead he takes a heavy touch, gives the ball away, but it's back with Castles, who has the shot that's deflected, comes as far as Nkatha. Now Rodney shoots from range. Probably shouldn't have done, but he's hit the crossbar. So it wasn't a terrible effort, but there were other players around him. I think the problem we've got is we don't really have a striker. Swaby's just not doing it. And I don't know that the players around him have got a lot of confidence that if they give the ball to him, he's going to score, which does make things more challenging going forward. We need Howard to get back to full fitness so we can give him a run in the team. He's never really had a run in the team since being here, and I think it might be time. Rose now plays it forward to Christodoulou, and now Yahaya and Tanjo, one of our new boys from this summer, 3 of our new boys from this summer, all combining there. Castles back to Nkatha, who's been here forever. Swaby gives it back to Nkatha again, and now we've got 2 overlapping on this left-hand side. Rodney gives the ball away there, and he probably could have given it to Berry, who was on the overlap, tries to come infield, gives the ball away, and once again we're caught on the counter-attack, and we are very, very susceptible to that kind of thing at the moment. I don't think Jennings had it covered. Luckily, this time they missed, though, and it's going to be Rose to take the free kick here, presumably from an offside. We didn't actually see what they did to give away the foul. Berry to Nkatha, who plays it into Christodoulou, who finds Tanjo. Castles bursts through, and Castles scores, and that's a very well-worked goal. That's good football, and we're back in the game. It's 1-1. I mean, we've bypassed Swaby and Castles has stepped up. Maybe that's going to be the way forward. But this is good football. Christodoulou starting to get better and better as time goes on. Good work from Tanjo as well. And Castles, although I think the pass was originally meant for Swaby, Castles has just taken it upon himself to take the guy who's missed every chance he's been given to and just do it himself. Oh, see, that's so poor though. And he's called Scott Scott. He's got a great name and we've had to see him do that to us. I want to sign Scott Scott. And it was a completely free header inside the 6-yard box. That shouldn't be something that can happen. And Jennings just doesn't have it covered. And that's frustrating. We're demanding more again. It's now time for a corner of our own. It's Berry to hit the in-swinger. We almost did the same thing at the other end, but Scholes couldn't keep his header on target. Rodney bursts into the area. Rose nods it down now for Tanjo. We are trying to keep the move going. Castles is in again, and it's a good save, and it's another corner. And it's going to be Berry coming across again to hit another in-swinger. I think we're loading up the far post this time. Berry does hit that far post. Rose couldn't get contact with it. It comes to Rodney, but the move just ends. And I'm starting to look down at the bench and think in terms of bringing on Howard, because Swaby's done. We already know Yahaya was an injury risk, so Palmer can come on for him. I know it's early to be making changes. We'll make a couple of changes with half an hour to go in the hopes, we're offering encouragement, in the hopes that maybe Howard can finish some of these chances, because we are creating chances, we're just not converting them. Rodney's not having the best of times, so Fenty can come on for him. And we're also going to bring on... Dixon's injured, isn't he? I kind of want to get on McBride. We had to take off... oh, no, Dixon is there. I want to get on McBride because he's big, so he's going to be useful for corners. Plus, Scholes couldn't play the full match. And I also want to do this midfield thing again. That I'm desperate to make a thing. I'm desperate to make that work. Even to the point where I'm going to go back to what we did on the first day, because I really want the whole idea to work of that midfield three. That's how I want those boys to work. Right, we made all our substitutions with 20 minutes to go. We're now going to go very attacking. And we're going to... That's what happens when you do all your substitutions with 20 minutes to go, boys and girls. That's why you don't do that. It's just Football Manager basics. I hate this game sometimes, I really do. Right, we're demanding more, but... I mean, we've been much better. So remember, Portsmouth are one of the best teams in the league, and we have been much better. But it counts for nothing when you lose the game. Slocum will be back for the next match. I'm still confident we're going to finish mid-table. We're still ahead of the Kev ratio. Berry's trying to do a long throw, bless him. There was no one to throw it to. McBride gives it to Jennings. Why is Jennings up there? Hang on, everybody. What was Jennings doing there? I mean, he's all the way back now, but that was interesting. Why would we pass to him? He's legging it back, trying to get back into his goal, and some Wally passes to him. What are you thinking? Right, get the ball forward again. We've still got 5 minutes of time added on here. Howard's done nothing, by the way. He is still recovering from injury, but I don't think he's the answer either necessarily, unless he scores here. Howard continues his run. Howard might be the answer. No, he's not. I knew he wasn't the answer. And I think it's been proven there. But we are, I mean, we've, ironically, down to 10 men, created a bit. We've looked all right. I'm still not worried. I think we're going to be fine. I'm less worried than I was at the end of the last episode. Confident enough with my eye on getting the save finished before FM25, as it always is at this time of year. I'm confident enough to get maybe 10 or 12 games done before the next episode now. So we're going to probably get all the way through to January and hopefully still be mid-table when we get there. That's the plan. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.